she disappeared beneath the waterfall. 2 years later, the river spoke. On the morning of June 12, 2023, the Hawthorne River was swollen and angry. Heavy rain had fallen through the night, turning the normally calm water into a fast-moving current that dragged branches, mud, and debris downstream. For most people, it was a reason to stay indoors. But for Ethan Wallace and his teenage son Noah, it was perfect fishing weather. They reached a quiet bend in the river just after sunrise, near an old steel bridge that locals rarely crossed anymore. As Noah scanned the waterline, something pale caught his eye, wedged tightly between the exposed roots of a fallen oak on a newly formed sandbar. At first, he thought it was trash. Then he saw the shape. It was a human skull. By noon, the riverbank was sealed off with yellow tape. By sunset, an unsolved disappearance from 2 years earlier was no longer a mystery of where, but of why it took so long to surface. To understand what the river finally revealed, we have to return to the summer of 2021. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting stories. The Girl Who Trusted the Mountains. Hannah Reed was 22 years old. She was a senior environmental science student at Blue Ridge State University, known among her friends for her optimism and deep love of wilderness. Hannah believed nature was honest, predictable, even forgiving, if you respected it. Sometimes that trust went too far. She lived in a small dorm room with her closest friend, Maya Collins, who later described Hannah as the kind of person who assumed the best in everyone. On the morning of July 9th, 2021, Hannah told Maya she was heading to Silver Run National Preserve, a mountainous park about 3 hours away. She planned to camp overnight near Glassvale Falls, a 30-meter waterfall surrounded by cliffs and dense forest. Hannah was collecting samples for her thesis on riverbank, vegetation and mineral erosion. She packed lightly: a blue sleeping bag, a one-person tent, a portable gas stove, canned food and water, a plant sampling kit, her phone and power bank. She wore hiking boots, jeans, and a green jacket with the university emblem. That Friday evening, Hannah's phone last connected to a cell tower at 7:41 p.m., placing her near the trailhead parking lot. After that, there was silence. By Monday morning, Hannah hadn't returned. She missed class. She didn't answer texts. By Tuesday afternoon, Maya contacted campus security. By Wednesday, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office was involved. Hannah's car, a white compact sedan, was found exactly where GPS data suggested it would be: locked, undisturbed. Her wallet and ID inside. Nothing looked wrong. A search team was assembled. Local deputies, park rangers, mountain rescue volunteers. The trail to Glassvale Falls was well marked, heavily wooded, and took about 2 hours to hike. The waterfall dropped into a deep, clear pool surrounded by slick rock ledges. Beneath it, the river continued through a narrow gorge where currents strengthened dramatically after rainfall. On the third day of searching, rescuers found Hannah's campsite. Her tent was properly pitched in a clearing about 100 meters from the water. Inside was her backpack, extra clothes, an unused stove, an empty water bottle. Footprints showed she had gone back and forth between camp and the waterfall. Near the water's edge, investigators found something chilling: her clothes, neatly folded on a flat rock, her boots beside them. It looked as though Hannah had gone for a swim. Divers searched the pool beneath the waterfall inch by inch. Nothing. The current there was weak. If Hannah had drowned, her body should have surfaced. Dogs tracked her scent to the water and then lost it completely. Helicopters scanned the forest. Caves were checked. Trails were walked repeatedly. No body, no blood, no struggle. Detective Aaron Cole, who led the investigation, initially leaned toward an accident. Rain earlier that week had strengthened the downstream current beyond the pool. If Hannah had slipped and been pulled into the gorge, her body could have traveled miles. But 2 weeks passed, then 4, then 8. Nothing surfaced. By September 2021, the case was downgraded to a missing persons file. Hannah's parents refused to stop searching. Her mother returned to the park every weekend. Flyers faded. Hope thinned. The river stayed silent. The winter of 2021 brought record rainfall. In spring 2022, the Hawthorne River flooded again. Higher, stronger. Riverbanks collapsed. Trees uprooted. Underwater channels shifted. And somewhere beneath the surface, something that had been hidden was slowly being freed. When divers searched the area where the skull was found, they discovered the rest of the remains lodged beneath a submerged log. The skeleton was nearly complete, wrapped in decayed fabric, a brick tied to the feet, hands bound with yellow nylon rope. The remains were transported to the medical examiner. Dr. Lena Marshall immediately noticed a gold dental crown. Records confirmed it belonged to Hannah Reed. What was once a disappearance was now officially a murder. The autopsy revealed horrifying details. A fracture at the base of the skull caused by blunt force trauma, signs of strangulation, evidence of sexual assault. These injuries occurred before death. The conclusion was undeniable. Hannah had not drowned. She had been attacked, restrained, assaulted, and deliberately disposed of. The waterfall was not the accident scene. It was the dumping ground. Detective Cole returned to Glassvale Falls, this time with forensic teams. Blood traces were found deep within cracks in the rock face, preserved where rain couldn't reach. Blue fibers caught on sharp stone matched Hannah's sleeping bag. The body had been thrown from the cliff, weighted, meant to vanish, and it almost worked. Digital forensics uncovered something investigators had missed in 2021. Messages sent to Hannah from an unknown number. "I'll be nearby. I know where you're going. Don't be afraid." They were sent via an internet-based service. Tracing the IP address led investigators back to a small internet cafe near Hannah's campus. Someone had been watching her long before the trip. The trail led to Evan Mercer, a delivery contractor who regularly worked on campus. He had helped Hannah move dorm rooms the year before. Neighbors described him as quiet, obsessive. Surveillance footage later placed his vehicle near the park during the weekend. Hannah disappeared. A search of his abandoned apartment revealed yellow rope identical to that found on Hannah's remains. Fabric fibers matched the sheet used to wrap her body. When arrested weeks later, Mercer initially denied everything. Then he broke. Mercer admitted to stalking Hannah, planning, waiting. He attacked her as she exited the water. He believed the river would erase her. He was wrong. In August 2023, Evan Mercer was sentenced to life in prison. Hannah's parents established a foundation for missing persons advocacy. The waterfall still flows. The river still moves, but it no longer carries her secret. Because sometimes, no matter how deep something is buried, the truth finds its way back. Be mindful and stay safe out there.